This is Electric Universe Eyes, and today I'm going to narrate a paper written by co-authors Robert F. Hawthorne Jr. and Benjamin Hyde, titled Twin Comets Recorded Through Antiquity and How They Affected World Culture. Abstract. Ancient artwork and the legends that accompany them, along with petroglyphs the world over, illustrate a horned deity or chaos monster involved with some type of interaction with twins. These twins can be represented by warrior heroes, twin serpents, or winged animals. In this presentation, the authors will contend a plasma instability after the manner of Dr. Anthony Peratt's experiments in Los Alamos laboratories, formed a plasma sheath enveloping not only the controversial polar configuration in the electric universe community, but also affected a pair of comets which were simultaneously present. Evidence of the personification of these twin comets will be provided in the form of petroglyphs, legends, and ancient artwork from around the world, as well as a recent discovery of potential, quote, twin comets, Comet 252P/Linear and Comet P/2016 BA14, orbiting in the projected vicinity of where a PC could have been located. Primary objectives of this discussion: 1. Discuss the origins of the twin comet theory. 2. Provide evidence in the form of petroglyphs, artwork, and legends from ancient cultures around the globe supporting the twin comet theory. 3. Demonstrate, using the recent discovery of potential twin comets 252P linear and P/2016 BA14, what a polar configuration accompanied by twin comets would look like compared to the above-mentioned artwork and petroglyphs. The San Rafael Swell, Utah, Petroglyphs and Pictographs. The story begins where Robert Hawthorne's last story ended, the San Rafael Swell, Utah. Here it was where the seed for the twin comet theory was planted. For those of you who have seen the video Symbols of an Alien Sky by David Talbot and the Thunderbolts Project, you may be familiar with this image. It is a pictograph on a panel called the Head of Sinbad in the San Rafael Swell, and has images of what could be pairs of twins or twins of comets interacting with some horned being holding a serpent. Robert then saw a post on the Electric Universe Archaeology group on Facebook by Marco Malorgio featuring the ancient Chinese Silk Atlas of comets. He felt more confident that the previous petroglyphs were examples of plasma displays involving comets and the polar configuration. William Comets Beaumont from 1873 to 1955. The author then researched if any other person may have developed a twin comet theory, and he discovered William Comets Beaumont, or Comets Beaumont, who will be discussed more at a later time. He was a British author, journalist for the Daily Mail, lecturer and editor of Bystander, 1903, and then The Graphic, 1932. He wrote about catastrophism decades before Velikovsky. In 1925, his first of several publications, called The Riddle of the Earth, was released. He was discredited for above-mentioned publications based on extreme catastrophic theories involving double comets impacting Earth, which caused the Great Deluge of biblical times. In an article written in 2017 by Ashley Cowie titled Scotland's Catastrophic Comet Conspiracy, she writes, according to Beaumont, Plato's ancient account of the Atlantis disaster about 9,000 years ago reported a comet collision with Earth beyond the Pillars of Hercules in the year 1322 BC, and that all mythologies and religions were built around this catastrophic double comet impact and resulting floods. In the left image is a drawing of Utah petroglyph by Dr. Anthony Peratt of Los Alamos Laboratories, New Mexico, described as a plasma instability. The right image shows a pictograph on the panel of the Head of Sinbad, where what looks like an inverted Peratt instability reaching for two serpents covered with hair could be the layering seen in the corona of comets. Here the previous image has been zoomed in upon in order to compare the alleged comet serpent head's tail to Donati's comet of 1858. The double layers shown in the corona of Donati's comet are remarkably similar to the hair covering the serpents' heads. This image is of a pictograph taken in Goblin Valley, Utah, showing possible horned creature, inverted Peratt instability, using its hands, possibly comets, interacting with winged creatures, possibly older comet events. The equal fading of the three pairs, hands, winged creatures, and comets, suggests to this researcher possibly multiple events occurred involving twins, which will be discussed later on in further detail. McConkey Ranch, Utah petroglyphs. Here, the author shows the similarities between the pictograph of the head of Sinbad, top left, in San Rafael Swell, Utah, to the other three images, taken by the author of Petroglyphs from McConkey Ranch, 2021. The author believes this hybrid glyph is a representation of a polar configuration with an arrow piercing the centers with what could be a red anode glow. There appears to be two bodies outside the polar configuration, and they could be comets. Native American twin hero legends. The Navajo Hero Twins legend. The Navajo and Ute tribes of the American Southwest are the indigenous peoples who discovered the Fremont-style petroglyphs, and the author found it very interesting that the Navajo has a legend involving twin warriors or heroes, named Monster Slayer and Born of Water, wielding lightning to fight chaos monsters. This is an image of natives dressed as the Navajo Hero Twins, Monster Slayer, and Born of Water. A quote from the book The Legend of the Navajo Hero Twins by Don Mose Jr. Quote, Sunbearer opens the last door. The room was dark and gloomy, infilled with smoke. Occasional sheet lightning flashed to illuminate huge weapons that hung around the walls. Sunbearer stepped into the room and went to each of the four walls of the dwelling and took down his mighty weapons, lightning, sheet lightning, deadly sunbeam, and fatal rainbow. Historic Ibichi pictorial Navajo rug. This image is of a Navajo rug circa 1920 that was recently sold on the website Charlie's Navajo Rugs with the description, Ibichi Navajo rug, male Ibichi with corn plants above and below them, lightning bolts between them and at their sides. Other Native American twin hero warrior legends. Arikara Tribe Twin Heroes. The Arikara tribe, located in western North Dakota and surrounding areas, tell the story of the hero twins, Drinks Brain Soup and his brother Long Teeth. Quote, Drinks Brain Soup is the name of an Arikara hero, one of a pair of magical twins. Despite his gruesome-sounding name, Drinks Brain Soup is not a monster or a cannibal. His pregnant mother was killed, and his father took him from her womb and sustained him on a broth made from deer brains in place of mother's milk. His twin brother, Longteeth, was magically generated from the afterbirth. End quote. The Caddo Tribe Twin Heroes. In Texas, the Caddo Tribe's Village Boy and Wild Boy are twin heroes of legend. In this story, Kataha, the chaos monster, kills the boy's mother while her husband is hunting. Both children survive, but Village Boy is found by his father while Wild Boy is lost in the wilderness. Eventually, the two brothers become reunited and move to avenge their mother's murder. The twins are associated with thunder and lightning. The twin heroes of the Iowa tribe, Dur and Waredwa, are the twin monster hunters of the Iowa tribe of southwestern Minnesota, quote, one being uncontrollable and chaotic, end quote. The Mississippian tribe hero twins. In the Choctaw Nation, especially in the Mississippi Band, a legend of hero twins are told of, quote, emerging from a crack in the back of a raccoon-faced horned serpent, end quote. The hero twins of the Seminole tribe. The Little Thunders were the hero twins of Mukosaki legend and were the chiefs of the water spirits. One brother was the flash of lightning and the other was the sound of thunder. The Zuni twin heroes. With a magical rainbow and cosmic lightning arrows, the twin heroes set tremendous conflagration over the face of the earth, scorching it dry and hardening the ground. End quote. Mesoamerican and South American twin hero warrior legends. Bacari tribe twin heroes. The Bacari tribe, which is located in Brazil, has this twin hero legend. Quote, Kari and Kame are the creator gods in Bacari legend, adapting the world for humans to live on, as well as teaching them to use fire and how to hunt. End quote. The Aztec twin heroes legend. Quote, Quetzalcoatl and Tezcatlipoca are the warrior heroes and creator deities of the Aztecs and are said to be brothers but not mentioned as twins. They are often written competing with each other. One example is when they fought over who would become the sun. However, they are also seen as allies, as both are considered protectors of the world. End quote. The Olmec twin hero warrior legend. Although the author could not find a legend of hero twins from the Olmec culture, he was able to find the image to the left where, quote, twins facing off against the jaguar. These statues were found in El Azuzul, the right image, deep inside Olmec territory. The fact that the twins were approaching the jaguar from the same side reminded the author of the petroglyph image from Three Fingers Canyon on the right, where the twin comets are approaching an animal figure which could be the jaguar in the Olmec statues. The Maya hero twins. The Maya are interesting on this subject because in their histories they record two sets of twins in two separate events. The first set of twins in Mayan culture were named Hun-Hanapu and Bukub-Hanapu. After being lured into the underworld, the twins were tricked into several challenges where failure resulted in death. After failing one of the tasks, they were sacrificed and buried. However, the head of Hun-Hanapu was severed and put on a spike near a tree at the foot of the World Mountain. A noble daughter approached Hun-Hanapu and the head spoke to her and spit on her palm. This event resulted in her conceiving and eventually birthing the second set of twins, Hanapu and Exblanque. Were there multiple twin comet events? Upon reading information about multiple events recorded involving twin heroes, or comets, the author immediately recalled these pictographs which show pairs of what appears to be comets. The history tells of two hero figures at a time, and in the images below the comets seem to be grouped in pairs. Even the fading of images seem to affect the last two comets equally in the image to the right. The Mayan hero twins legend. Also, according to the Mayan legend, the twins were not identical. Hanapu, who is described as the eldest of the two, was larger, right-handed, and attributed as more masculine. Exblanque, the younger brother, is described as smaller and left-handed. In Europe, the Appian Way to Cernunnos. William Commons Beaumont, aka Appian Way. Appian Way was a crucial road connecting ancient Rome to Brindisi in the southeast. So crucial was the Appian Way that it was also known as Regina Varium, or Queen of the Streets. In the electric universe, impacts are not needed for comets to inflict damage on the Earth, and therefore the authors do not support the, quote, impact part of Beaumont's theory. However, it was his reference to Pictish symbols that provides the crucial path to understanding the twin comets theory. It was this connection which caused the authors to revisit the concept, but with EU eyes. Ashley Cowie also comments in her article on Beaumont's means to his theory, quote, but aside from being illustrated in medieval ecclesiastical art before 1925, the thought of such cosmic catastrophes never really crossed people's minds, end quote. However, it is Robert's strong contention that it is these, quote, in medieval ecclesiastical art, end quote, or Pictish symbols that are the paving stones in the crucial road or Appian Way to fully understanding the petroglyphs, pictographs, legends, and artwork of our collective ancient past. Pictish symbols. The image on the left is a Pictish stone with several symbols that will be discussed in the next few slides. The image on the right is a map of Scotland and the location of known Pictish stones. Drawing of Pictish symbols of what could be a double or twin comet event, as well as symbols demonstrating a possible polar configuration in multiple phases. When comparing the Pictish symbols to the Silk Atlas of comets, one should be able to see a similarity between the, quote, double disc and Z-rod Pictish symbol and the barbs on the tails of several comets. The fact that there are two of them could be a recording of a double or twin comet event. When comparing the Pictish symbols to the author's picture taken at McConkey Ranch, Utah, one should also see a similarity between the, quote, triple disc and crossbar or cauldron Pictish symbol and the hybrid petroglyph pictograph. Notice how there are rings inside the cauldron while two others are on opposing sides. Could this be evidence of twin comets in proximity to a fixed polar configuration? Also, the author found that the use of term cauldron quite interesting, and we'll discuss that interest in a moment. Now that evidence of twin comets in the form of Pictish symbols being recorded in Europe has been presented, is there any evidence of a horned deity or horned serpent as per the previous stories of that of a horned serpent mentioned in the Americas? Cernunnos. There is a ram-horned serpent which appears in Roman Celtic areas as well as in Gaul. In fact, these areas were closely associated with the horned or antlered god Cernunnos, and the horned serpent appears 3 times on the Gundestrup cauldron. Even though Cernunnos is labeled as an antlered or horned deity, author Cesur Serth writes on his website about his doubt of them actually being antlers. He writes, quote, I am not convinced that what Cernunnos wears on his head are indeed antlers, since they have no times. It is also unsure whether they are growing from his head or part of a crown." End quote. Author of the Thunderbolts Project video series, Discussions on an Alien Sky, David Talbot states in Episode 18, The Myth of the Heavenly Twins, quote, "But why was the Ka hieroglyph simply a pair of arms? Our explanation is that the crescent form, when seen behind the polar column that is so fundamental to this reconstruction, readily provoked an imaginative interpretation as two arms or wings." End quote. He further explains that this crescent was the light on the rim of Saturn reflected from the sun, and this is not argued. However, in the image below of a panel on the Gunda Strip cauldron, we see similar imagery of the Egyptian Ka, only this shows the arms holding two dragons, which could be the twin comets. This could be evidence that the twins entered the cosmic theater for a time. The authors would like to express that from this point geographically, there is much more imagery throughout Greece, Egypt, Mesopotamia, and beyond. A simple search on the topic Master of Animals, or Potnia Theron, could reveal a plethora of artwork, which for those with EU eyes will enjoy. The authors would also like to take this time to suggest the YouTube channel Kronos, who has done an outstanding and extensive amount of research using the mentioned images and artwork from that area, supporting the theory that these events were in fact plasma phenomenon on a global scale. Question: but have twin comets ever been witnessed by astronomers? Twin comets 252P linear and 2/2016 BA14 pan-stars. In March 2016, NASA published an article titled A Tale of Two Comets. Here they identified two comets that would pass by the Earth toward the end of the month, comets 252P/linear and P/2016 BA14 pan-stars. Quote, Comet P/2016 BA14 pan-stars follows an unusually similar orbit to that of Comet 252P/linear, which was discovered by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Lincoln Near-Earth Asteroid Research, or LINEAR, survey on April 7, 2000. The apparent coincidence may be an indication of twin nature in that comet." End quote. Here is an image of the twin comets from AstroArts and JPL. In this image, the creator of the YouTube channel Astrograv ran a simulation backwards in time with the data given to see if there ever were a single comet that fragmented. Although more is needed to confirm if these are twins or the twins of legend, they do provide what a twin comet event would look like when a polar configuration was present. As the viewer can see, all the planets and comets are present with the exception of Saturn, which was said to have gone away. Another interesting fact the author noticed was the comets aren't the same size. It states in the article, quote, P/2016 BA14 is roughly half the size of the comet 252P/linear and might be a fragment that calved off sometime in the larger comet's past, end quote. Which goes along with the Mayan account covered earlier in this discussion. Quote, in prehistoric sculptures and paintings, the hero twins aren't identical twins. The older twin, Hanapu, is depicted as larger than his younger twin, end quote. Could Comet 67P separate into twins? In an article published in 2015, the ESA attributes the, quote, breakup of water and carbon dioxide molecules erupting from the surface, end quote, to electrons, not photons. In a 2015 Thunderbolts Project video called Electrochemistry on Comet 67P Space News, Dr. Franklin Onariba comments on the ESA findings. Quote, based on the recorded data and subsequent analysis, the authors proposed photoelectron impact dissociation as the mechanism action near the nucleus. This was done by comparing the ratio of relative intensities between hydrogen-1 Lyman alpha over hydrogen-1 Lyman beta emission lines and subsequent comparison to previously established laboratory findings. For instance, their reported ratio was 5 versus 7 from laboratory experiments, which contrasts with the ratio of about 300 if the mechanism were resonance fluorescence excitation. This clearly shows that electron impact is a valid conclusion in this case, end quote. The twinning in Moki marbles. It is also this author's contention that this double-lobed shape is accomplished through an electrochemical process and could very easily be the genesis as well as the bifurcation method of the twin comets heretofore spoken of. The authors would now like the viewers to visualize in their heads the image on the left with the image on the right, superimposed, but in proper alignment to the Earth for a fixed polar configuration. Then take advantage of the comet path lines and imagine them as cometary tails. Is this something close to what you see? Summary. The authors would like to summarize that this presentation has provided evidence of twin comets being recorded at frequency in the form of petroglyphs and pictographs, legends from multiple native and Mesoamerican tribes, as well as artwork from around the globe. This evidence supports the twin comet theory and their influence on world culture through those efforts. The authors have also provided evidence of a recent discovery of possible twin comets by NASA. Although more observation is required to confirm if these are, in fact, twin comets or the twins of Antiquity, the event does provide significant circumstantial evidence supporting the plausibility of the twin comet theory. Please discern for yourselves. For more information, please visit Robert Hawthorne's Facebook group, Electric Universe Geology.